Hi everyone, this is Nabir Watcher. It is June 24th, 2017. And what you're looking at now is Planet X, the wing destroyer, whatever you want to call it. It has a plasma atmosphere with two wings and a plasma tail, with trillions of debris in its plasma tail. So let's look at the camera features because this thing is being seen in the near infrared spectrum. Many people says I can't see Planet X. Of course not, because it's in the infrared. It's giving off heat though. Unless the sun's shining directly on it, you're not going to see it. And it's also coming on the ecliptic plane, making it very difficult to watch at sunrise and sunset. So let's look at the aperture at, notice the f-stop at 4. ISO speed maxed out at 1600 with 4 electrovolts and exposure time of 30 seconds. If we go back just 10 minutes earlier, it was dark. Nothing had changed. We have f-stop at 4. Only 3 things that's going to affect the light. ISO speed at 1600 and exposure compensation at 4 electrovolts at the exposure time of 30 seconds. Nothing had changed. 1600 electrovolts, 4 electrovolts, and 30-second. Where does all that light coming from? Well, for anybody who, and then look, it got even brighter, right? And still nothing has changed. Where's all this light coming from? Well, let's look at stellarium to see where we're at with this time. Go back. Let's look at the time frame here again. Let's look very carefully. This all starts at 3 o'clock in the morning. So here we are in stellarium. Now I'm going to show you this little arrow here showing you the location that we're facing the north because that's where the camera's facing. And you're going to see the time at the 24th. And let's set this to 3 o'clock. And where this object basically is facing the north, below the Big Dipper, is to put this right about here is what we're looking at, near Draco's tail, the dragon's tail. So isn't that poetic, right? The dragon, the winged destroyer, is the. So where's the moon? It's below the horizon. That's where it's at. So is the sun. But any dare to debunk this, you're going to see that this is Venus way over here. So it couldn't have been Venus. Let's remove, and below we can see the sun and the moon. Okay, below the horizon. So what is lighting up this whole sky? Planet X. It's not waking anybody up because they can't see it. Your eyes can't see the infrared. These cameras can pick it up. And here is the next shot. We can see still the exposure rate has not changed. It's bright. And it gets dark again. Is that just crazy or what? And this thing moves around in the sky. But hold on your hats. Things are getting better. Again, this technology in the sky is keeping us with this lens array that JPL and NASA had put in place, ultra thin system here, not really precise, but JPL had designed. I go back in my other videos and I go into detail about this ultra thin material that they put in space, hovering there, probably held up by satellites, just like satellites are in space. That's how it's there. It's there to hide the planets. It pulls your lens out of focus, pulls objects out of focus. Go back and watch my other videos how this is hiding it. Look at this fake sun pass in front of it. Now, yes, the real sun is behind the fake sun. It's to hide the solar. Look how this thing even changes and flickers. And look how the light passes through the lens array and how it's hiding the same thing. So now, with that being said, let's look at this next shadowy object here. And I will show you, just hang in there, a stunning pictures of the, matter of fact, I'm going to jump right into it. No, hold on. So, stunning pictures. And here we have the same thing. Let's look at this one. Again, here is what it looks like, these shadowy objects. When it gets dark, you'll keep your track on these cameras that shadow will turn white because it's infrared. So here we have the, let me zoom in on this and see its full picture, because when you click on it, you're going to see the whole thing. Yep. There's our planet. There's the projection on the infrared spectrum right here. It's a projection because it is going through a lens. That's hot. Then we get, this was taken on 23rd at 11 o'clock at night. Again, we see the shadowy object here. Let's see if we can show the progression of this shadow. Yes, and you will see shadows. I'm going to present you the proof. Just hang in there. That this is going to be casting shadows, but the light is casting. It's coming from the north and casting the shadow forward, as you will see later in this video. So just hang in there. You're going to see your shadows. As a matter of fact, you saw one right there. Here is the shadowy object. Here is being cast on the water, but it's going to be even more compelling evidence later in this video. Just hang in with me. So let's watch some more compelling videos. I've got a slideshow coming up. And I just want to show you that there is a lot that this overlay on this film is left out. So if you click on it, you're going to see a whole lot more. You're going to really miss out if you're not going back and watching all this extra sky that was cropped out by the camera. So here we can see this electric planet dancing in the sky. It's an electric universe, so it doesn't move. It's more of an erratic orbit. Some of them are fast moving. They got 3 different speeds. They're in different orbits. And in the slideshow, we're going to start to see the orbital paths of 3 planets. So here again, we get this white orb. I don't even want to call it an orb. It is a projection of the infrared planet. Would be higher up in the camera here, left out of view. So here we have the projection. And look at casting on the water. Now, here's where it gets good. Now I want you to keep your eyes on this. Now here we have a shadow and beginning to see these 3 planets. This is going to be part of the slideshow that I'm going to show you with more and more compelling proof of these objects. Now, this, what we saw earlier in my video, this was on the 10th, about 12 days earlier. We could see the same nature of this object, that it changed. Notice there's no changes on the camera. Again, we have it ISO at 4, 800, 2 electrovolts, and 20-second exposure rate. And the exposure rate only changed 25. And then notice how it just gets dark again. Look at that. Where did all that light come from? I'm telling you, it's from this object. It's lighting up the whole sky. It's lighting up the cameras. Okay, so just like we saw on this, the same settings on the camera, nothing changes. It suddenly appears. There are no changes. And just 12 days earlier, it's doing the same thing. It's doing it on many cameras around the world. We can see this is the plasma tail. And we can watch this thing. Let me go back. Okay, so again, we can see it's doing the same thing here. No changes on the camera thing when this thing appears. I mean, honestly, does that really look like a spider? That has some pretty good symmetry to it. Look at the plasma coming off that thing. And now, let's get into the shadows. Now, this is the shadow on the water. And what you're not seeing is what the camera had cropped off with this. So let's expand this picture and watch. Wow. So here you have, this is part of the beginning of the slideshow that I'm going to show you. Just how to present this to you because these cameras are cutting this out. So here is your shadow being cast on the water, and the next shot, it suddenly disappears. And here we have more, but the shadows would be pointing in this direction. So think about the light source and what direction shadows are pointed. You're not always going to get shadows. So now, let's see if I could show you what we're missing in this cropped out video. This is blowing me away, people. I want you to see this thing. When you see the slideshow, because the only way to show you this is to save every photo, zoom in, and present it in a slideshow because the cameras are slow. So let me begin, show you a couple more of these shadows here. And let's see what we'll miss. Just to keep showing you what we're missing, these cameras are cropping this out. Okay? All right. So now let's begin the slideshow. Are you all ready for this? Okay. This is the best part. This is freaking mind-blowing. Okay. Sorry, little technical difficulties, but let the slideshow begin. So here we have a planetary body here, in here, casting its shadow here on the water. And just gets more impressive as we go forward. So we can see the shadow. Some of your eyes won't see this, but they will come into view for you. As we go forward, we have the planetary shadow here. We can see the shadow here, casting the faint shadow here. Some of you can't see it, but hang in there. Everybody's going to see the ones coming up. It's how sensitive your eyes are to the shades of color here. Here are these shadows. We have 1, 2, 3 objects. And the reason I like this slideshow, now we can start seeing the orbital path of these 3 massive planets. Look at the shadow here. Okay, that's, hang in there. I'm getting to the best shadows. I'm just going to kind of speed through this a little bit. Keep your eye on this here. I think that's part of the lens array. Let's keep going because you're going to love some of these shadows coming up. Look at that one, people. Look at that. That things are fast moving. And here, another planet coming in from the right. I think it's probably in some kind of a trine or orbit. There you go. You want your shadow? Right there. And now we can see these 2 other planets in some bizarre trine or orbit, kind of probably a figure 8. So I'm just going to speed forward. I hope you can all see this. Sometimes they're pretty faint, difficult to see, but they're still there. Shadows on the water are even more difficult to see. It's very faint. There'd be one here, but we can't quite see it because the water is. There we go. Here we have a shadow being cast from this one above. So